Take two. I blew it the first time. Let's try this again, though you won't know. So, Mo Norman had a unique swing. Bryson DeChambeau also has a unique swing. Mo Norman did this and had a way to set up his body so he couldn't turn the club at impact any further left. Took the left side out. And he had it so that he came through and down and came on that knee and threw that ball. Mo Norman was willing to give up distance for accuracy, and he was highly accurate. Bryson wanted the accuracy, but wanted more distance. And so they've each worked their way to do things. What I call conventional swings versus what I call a fishtail is no different. We're playing in kind of uncharted territories. I don't think I'm the first person, though, who wanted to learn how can you bring the club head back and just leave it right on plane and then come right back through again, and so you can get a straight hit. I'm not the first person to try to figure this out. I'm sure every golfer at some point is trying to figure out how can we do it. Lately, I've been promoting playing off the left side. Let me get rid of the wedge for a second. Why? Why the left side? Why is this left side so important to play off the left side? Because if you start playing off that left side, you can compress the ball and hit low. You're never going to compress the ball from the right side. I guess you could if you turn your hips enough and try to come through. And you'll see golfers who do that because their elbow is behind their back. Who does it the most? To be honest with you, Korean golfers. They get very good at dropping here in the back and coming down and keeping that ball low. So this is a 7-iron. And if you remember, it goes 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I'm hitting a 7-iron like a 5-iron trying to do that. But try to do that on a big swing, you know? So let's go back before I get too far into this. And let's go back to this wedge. And trust me, I got a collection of wedges over here. But I try to gravitate toward the 52 all the time. But I got 5 52s at different bounces. 9s, 8s, 6s, you name it, I probably have it. But anyway, so I've been trying to promote this, feel like a 90, come here, turn, come up, hit through the ball, stay straight. All that good stuff. But now let's really start looking at some of this from behind me, so you can see really what's kind of going on behind the scenes. If I'm here and I lift the club up but try to stay out in front, theoretically I should be hitting straight every time. Why? Because I'm not moving my hand. I'm moving my hips. I'm moving my shoulders. So I'm staying here and coming through. So they should all be straight. Because where I've started from, I'm coming back to. Now, you can tilt yourself a little bit and learn how to flight down. You can also go the other direction. You can keep your hands forward and kind of open up your club head and swing through and head up. You can also, but you're still hitting down on the ball because you're trying to get spin. So when you're doing all these shots, you're trying to get spin. And how do you know on a net without measuring how much spin you have? The longer you can get that ball to spin as it hits the net and drops straight down, probably the more spin you're actually using and have. So it's rolling down the net. Now that net curves backwards into the back, so it's rolling as far as it can before it drops. But that's where you get your spin from. You're trying to hit through the ball and spin it. What about littler shots? Same thing applies. Just don't raise the club head so much. Keep it nice and low. Hit a little shot. So you can control your distance. You can play with the face. You can open and close it. I mean, you can get ridiculously open, but the more open you get, the handle's always going to want to drop back. But if you're going to have the handle in front of you, that means you get smaller and smaller area here to actually get on the ball. That's just physics. If I drop this back, the handle goes back. If I want to bring the handle forward, it turns the head. Now I got very little room or margin of error to come through and hit that ball. So if I have very little margin of error, the more I can keep one thing consistent and learn to do that, the better off I'm going to be. And how do I do that? I don't move my hand. Literally, it goes for the ride the whole entire time. My shoulders do a little work, my hips do a little work, and I try to keep that hand just coming through and getting spin on the ball. Well, that's great for wedges. I have been working on and off, nothing overly serious, more so lately though, on trying to keep that same philosophy on full swings. So here I am here, coming up. Whoops. That's what I did on my first video. That's why you're never going to see that one. Anyway, coming up and hitting through the ball. What I like about this, it has a lot of good positive effects. If you're here and you're turning your body and you're rotating these arms and you're coming back down to where you started, you can hit a good ball. Now we'll talk about height in a second here. How to get height differences. Your conventional way would be to come through here and drop your hands above your toe line and make your turn and hit the ball. That's your release. So you're like, well, Randall, if the conventional way is to bring your hands down and release the ball by releasing the club, but you're holding it the whole time and you're not moving the club and you're just coming through and coming through, what creates the release? Well, when you're down here on the ground level and your club's down here, you can lean the club forward, obviously, so that moves your hand back a hair. So you have some, but when you come up, you're literally trying to get as much of this as possible. What you're trying to do, though, is leave it on the swing plane just like you found it, basically. By that, what I mean, some people, when they're on a conventional swing, they'll have their head, the club head, match the angle of their back. Some people will come up and they'll say, no, you have the toe high noon, 6 to 9, or 12 to 6. So they want you to come up and then come back through to hit the ball. I'm promoting getting your hands forward because the more you want to compress the ball, the more your hands have to be forward. Yes, you can compress the ball if your hands get all the way behind you, but you have to really, oops, sorry. That's my second oops of the night. You have to really learn how to get through that ball, and then your elbow is going to be more behind you. Are there golfers who do that? Oh yeah. The Korean golfers are notorious, if you watch their videos, of coming through and getting that club head behind them, because they're dropping back here and they're turning their body, and that gets that arm behind them. There was a guy who worked at Rebecca Creek. His name was TK. I should post some of his videos. I took a couple of them. He got his arm way behind him. I tend to pull the ball when I do that. So it's everything you try. I don't care if you want your hands back here, your hands here, your hands up here. I don't care where everything's gonna take practice. So I've been practicing this staying up here, coming through, and that's why I have to practice. You can't do, I'll say the good things and bad things. Let me go through the swing. When you're trying to do this swing and you're coming up, it's a lot of body rotation. Not gonna lie. So you're gonna get a lot of that. But you're trying to hold here and come through and get that body rotation. So they're easy to thin. So to prevent the thinning, you're gonna have to throw your hands low toward the ground and come through. Meaning your circle comes down, but even on a conventional swing, if I were to take a 7-iron, you should be throwing your hands toward the ground. Now, you'll hear a lot of people say that does not mean you're yanking the club handle down. And that's true, you're not. It's a smooth movement coming down and getting your hands so that as you make your turn, you can fire the ball. If you get lazy, and we all do, especially as you're 15th, 16th hole, sometimes you get lazy and you forget to turn that club and let it fly through and try to get the contact in front of the ball. If you practice what I'm doing here, and what I'm literally trying to do is just come up and let the club, try to get in the camera view, you're gonna come up and get the club to go straight back. And then as you come through, you're gonna hold it as long as you can, and then you're gonna do your final release way past the ball. Way past the ball. I mean, your release is gonna be way over here somewhere. So you're holding literally that club, that whole entire trip coming through. Oops, that's an early release. And that's why it takes dedication and practice. You have to think about, how am I going to get it to come through? And tonight, this is my second video because I am tired and I'm not doing a good job to show my better swing when I'm doing this. So let's slow it down for Randall. A little tired tonight. Come up, bam, come through. So this is kind of a second lesson. Anytime you try to kill the ball, you tighten up. You grip. Your chest, everything kind of locks in together. And that's a bad thing in golf. This particular hit, if you want to do it correctly, throw down back here. If you want to do it correctly, you have to be so relaxed that you have about a 2 grip here and you have nothing in your arms. And you're using your body to do the whipping. And that's too fast. For those who like to play a little speedier golf, you can't whack every time. Sometimes you'll get away with it. But you got to learn how to use the momentum of the club. When that club comes back and starts to come forward, you're throwing your weight. So you start playing wacky whack golf, some are going to be good, some are going to be bad. Look at your conventional golfer. Brings the hands here, makes the turn. It's the same thing. If he tries to play wacky whack and play golf and doesn't let the club head really set, he can also do some bad shots. So the commonality between the two shots, whether you're trying to say on a single plane or you're trying to do the conventional hands in front of the body, they're both the same. The problem you're going to find is if you're trying to play around with this single plane, it takes a lot of body turn. You got to push those hands as far away from the body as you can. Now, it can bend up here because when you come down, you're not casting, you're coming down and you're straightening that arm back out. And so then you can still get a good hit. So when you speed up the golf club at the top, that's when you tend to come up. Here, I'll try it on a conventional. That's when you tend to come out too quick and hit thin, because you casted half of your lag out and now you're trying to use body to bring the club around. So that's a thin shot. So if you have your hands coming down as you make the turn, that chances are is getting you closer to the ground so that you don't thin the shot. So let's go back to this fishtail. This whole idea of just bringing the club straight back and straight through. You're going to lower your ball flight by 2 clubs. I was hitting today my 7-iron 190 yards in the air. And how do I know that? Because I'm at the 200-yard marker, drive out to the 200-yard marker, sit here, look at it, hit the ball, and then I watch it land in front of the green and trickle up on the green. That's 200 yards to the green, to the center of the green, which means I flew what? 187, 190, somewhere in there, you know? But the trick is, I don't care how you like to hit the ball. If you want to be conventional coming through here and make your turn and hit, or if you want to try this and try this fishtail and learn how to stay on the left side and hold that lag until you come through, you can try it. Either way, on the right hand, you really need that club to go through that lifeline. And if you look at my thumb, see, you can see the wear patterns here, but why the wear pattern on the thumb? That's because when my grip is here, I've got that lifeline smothering that. So this is so locked in together, I don't have to squeeze. That's already done for me. So if I just relax and come through, it's already set. And it's usually set to where I can't do anything but go straight. Now, when we're talking swing plane, if you're trying to do this one piece takeaway, one piece swing plane, learning all of it, so that went that way. I'll tell you when they go to the right, but I'll tell you why they go to the right. They go to the right if my hands get slightly behind me and I come, instead of straight through, they're going to go that way. So when you're doing this exercise, practice turning and learning how to keep that on that side of the body, and a lot of shoulder rotation because you're trying to get as much whip as possible. And what you'll end up doing is finding, if you do it correctly, which that wasn't, you won't have to swing the club as hard, your chest as hard, because your club is going so far on an arc to come down that that's where you're getting your speed from. Let me go to a 9-iron real quick. On a 9-iron, I want to intentionally hit the ground. I've said, somebody said it before me, striking a match. You want to feel that coming through and striking that match. You want to feel that you're hitting the ground. When I'm hitting balls on my net, I really want to hear 2 things. I want to hear that, thump, 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 thump. The thump on the ground and the thump on the net. And when you put those ribbons through there so you know how high you're hitting, you'll hear it hit that ribbon smack. And so it's very easy to tell, thump thump. But let's look at a 9-iron. I hit my 9-iron about 150 now. If I'm hitting my 9-iron 150, somewhere around 66.7 degrees, maybe 62, somewhere in there, is my 100-yard shot. So I want to be able to come here, push right, hands got behind me, just enough to take it off course. I want to be able to come in here and hit and know that's going 100 yards. I am now no longer playing a 100-yard wedge. All my 52 degrees, I got 5 of them. Different bounces on each one. That was my 100-yard club. 105, 110. But I used to use that 52 degree on a 75 degree coming through accurately. But now, I'm more of every now and then, I want what I call a neutral swing. A neutral swing coming through one side, coming through the other. It's a little higher. So if my top line is a 9, I'm really getting this to a 52 degree. But I'm not swinging hard. I'm swinging smart. I'm swinging big shoulder this way, big shoulder that way. Ball flies off the face, goes 100 yards, drops on the green, bounces a couple times. If I came through it correctly, I got the spin, so it checks on the green. I don't have to swing a 52 degree nearly as hard, my 9-iron as hard as a 52 degree. If I go to a 52 degree, and I want to do that 100-yard shot, I got to put a little zip into it. And then you got that big old club head, and you got this angle, you know, and some of them will have an offset. This one doesn't have an offset. But now you have to really plan out, and then you're going to do a conventional swing. So you're going to come over here, and you're going to let the club head come through. So now you're doing this conventional swing where you're trying to get a 100-yard shot, same spot, and I'm over here saying, ha, I'm going to take a 9. I don't have to swing as hard. I just have to be consistent. I have to practice this a little bit, and I just want to be able to come through and do that and hit a 100-yard shot. So that's a good thing. What happens though when we start going from a 9-iron or 7-iron? Let's go ahead and grab a couple 7s off of this. Slide this forward. So let's say we take a 7-iron. Again, you're holding this and you're bringing it up. That's my 3rd bad hit of the night. That's all bad technique. If you're doing that, you're not doing it right. There we go. So that's going to be plenty. If you're getting this thing to come back and whipping it through, not low, but through, you're going to get more distance just by the sheer club head speed. And so that's really what you're working on. Sometimes they'll be a little low. When they're low, get your hands down back here before you make your turn. You got to do that. This is when you're trying to stay on this club head, on this swing plane, and keep that hand literally forward and make the bigger turn and use all this turning of the top part coming through, you're using every ounce, every piece of your body to get this accomplished. So for the guys who want to come through this way and throw that club head, they're not going to have to work as hard. I'm not going to lie. So why would you do this? Why would you put yourself to hitting like that? First of all, you always lower the club face or club height two clubs. So a 9-iron goes into a 7-iron. A 7-iron goes into a 5-iron. You can do a little bit more neutral. This was a 7 and it hit, if you rewind and look, it hit about where the white line is. That's my 7-iron. Can I get further? All arms. I'm tired. I learned when I'm tired on the course and I start doing that, that's all arms. These things have to be just as loosey-goosey as you can make them. And that'll allow your shoulders to do a full rotation. And then your shoulders will realize, my God, there's nothing in the way. There you go. So that was closer to 5 1/4. So you lowered that flight. The other thing you're going to have to do, if you're staying on the left hip and coming through and coming down into that ball, you're going to have to hold that lag forever. I mean forever. I mean, you're really trying to hit the ball with the same lag, as much lag as you can. And then your release is afterwards. And you're going to be like, Randall, that means I'm missing out on a lot of club head speed. Nah, it all works out. It all works out. Now for me, I have to get this left shoulder under my chin. So if I start turning and I feel that shoulder start pressing into that chin, my typical, let me make sure you can see, start hitting that chin, my typical is to stand my club up. If you stand your club up and try to come back down, you're going to half hit the ball. If you're used to being here and then making a turn through the ball, and you're thinking conventional, you're going to hit half a ball. So you have to really lay it back and come through. And you can see, you can let this thing flop pretty good in the back. And once it's there, think about all that motion, holding that club and then releasing past the ball. You've got a lot of built up energy. So if you want to do a 3/4 7-iron, and then see how strong my grip is, everything's strong. You can start just nailing some balls. You can hit. And then if you want, you slightly tilt to the left. So when you're in your stance, you're supposed to really be doing 22.5 degrees and then get this up to 90. And you really don't want to ever lock that knee. Well, what happens if we decide to lock this leg and do more of what they call a stack and tilt, like a Tom Segota? Tom would be like, oh, keep all your weight over here. This is what you're posting around this left leg. So let's try that for a second. Come here. Just swung early. Every time I change a tactic and not practice for a second, it's going to take me a second to reset my body. There you go. So you can see, this is the one time, if you're staying out here and turning, and then just using a lot of shoulder, you can lock that leg. It's okay. It's okay to have that force when you're making this turn, to have that force that hip in, and you're not sliding out. You're turning and that is locking you up because of the way you're coming back down through the ball. It's like spring loading you through the ball. And then it's just a matter of literally learning how to hold the grip so it's maybe a 2, and hold your arms so that they're absolute noodles. You can barely feel them attached to your body. And it's just like I said a long time ago, if you were to stand straight and just start moving your hips, your arms are going to move if you relax them. And then as your hips start to move one direction, your arms are trying to catch up. And all of a sudden you add a little bit of the lat movement, and then you can start coming in and really sling that club. And that's all this golf is about, is you're coming in and you're gathering that ball and firing it through. Now, that's a 7-iron. Let's get to a 5-iron and then a 4-iron discussion. When you start getting to longer clubs, things are going to change on you. That's a lot of club length to have to come all the way around and then fire it through. It's a lot of club. Truth of the matter is, on a lot of my videos on a conventional swing, y'all see me kind of stand here and get into this position and hit a ball. And I know a lot of y'all are like, God, how's he doing? He doesn't look. Because I'm feeling, where's my body comfortable at? Where do I know I need to be to hit that ball? It can be done this way. You can sit here and get in this position, square those hips. I always say square those hips, get on this left side, make this 90-degree here, and feel it and come through. I was a little off, I was behind. If your hands are behind, you're going right. Almost guarantee you it takes the left side of the course out of the way. But you have to learn to get it in and through. Now, I'm saying on a 5-iron, that's pretty low. And everybody who watches my videos knows I like to hear two things. The smack here on the ground, and then the smack on the net. So I like that thunk, 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 thunk. And a 5-iron, it gets a little bit tougher to get that because it's more cleaner coming through. You're not hitting in front of the ball when you get down to a 4-iron or a 3-iron or even my 2-iron. You're sweeping the ball. So unless you're really pushing down on that turn, you're not going to hit the ground necessarily. But what you need to do is what I call the dog ear, which is a lot of upper body turn. Then you can start pounding a ball. That's when it feels good. So why are we doing all this? If a conventional way of swinging, bringing your hands through and making that turn, if that can work, why are we doing this crazy fishtail where you're literally trying to just bring the club up and down, up and down? And then why are we worried about our hands being forward? Because that all leads to compression. If you want to compress a ball, I don't care how you want to hit it, get those hands forward and hit in front of the ball by coming through the ball, and you'll compress it. And you can do it conventional, or you can do it this crazy fishtail way. If you practice this fishtail, you're going to have a pretty strong grip. You're going to have to learn to really relax. Relax all this. That's a good feeling. You should relax it no matter how you're swinging the club, what swing you choose. The other cool thing is if you practice this, you're getting those hands forward. So then you go to a conventional swing where you're going to have the hands past the toe line, so it's more here and making your turn. It's easier because now you've kind of practiced those hands being forward. The other thing, especially on longer irons, you want a lot more shoulder turn because you want that club coming down into that ball. So if you want to hold the ball down, you don't want to stay low to low. You want that ball, that club to come down and still have room before it squares. So you have to hit down on the ball. Well, the best way to do that is to be coming from pretty high up through the ball. That's what makes it nice. So you're going to learn, if you practice this, you don't have to take this to the course. Just learn how to turn and hit. You don't even have to do it hard. Start off slow. Just sit here and say, okay, he said keep this over here. So I'm going to have to learn how to turn my body where it feels like this is staying over here. And then I'm going to come back through and turn my shoulders. But you're going to learn how to keep those hands in front. So then when you go back, I don't know, let me grab another club. Oh, grab an 8-iron. So then you go grab a different club. You're going to feel what it feels like to get that through and get that flight down and compress that ball. And the only way you're going to learn it is how do you get your hands forward. Now, if you talk to Bryson DeChambeau, he's going to tell you, you know, he's doing this way out here. And as he turns, he's turning as much as he can, and then he crosses his body. And then as he comes back down, he's returning. So he's trying to keep his hands like every golf shot. Every golfer, we want our hands in front of our sternum. When you're here, and I know you're saying, well, Randall, you've got my hands boxed up into here. Well, not really. If I kept the club head neutral, the club head is in front of my sternum. Just because I lean the shaft and now my hands are out here and I'm learning how to come up and in, up and in. Now some people will say, Randall, you're just trapping the ball. Whatever. They'll also tell you I hit the ball further than them. And this guy who said that is playing on the senior PGA. Not on TV, but he's still out there working his ass off, and he's qualifying and going to Florida, and he's playing. And he teaches golf. So if he says I'm trapping the ball, but you still hit the ball further than me, I take that as a compliment. Because remember, my whole goal from here was to see how far can I get that club to come around and get the most money for my buck, bang for my buck, to come through and hit that ball. So the further back you take it, the more you have to give yourself time to get that club back around. And I told you, I don't care how you hit the ball, whether it's here and you turn, whoops, sorry, or whether you're trying this new fishtail crap, I don't care. If you want to learn that, whatever you're trying, once you're here, whatever you're practicing, you need to be able to cut just every time, this little section, that's all you care about. How you get through that section or to that section, you care about here and through that ball. Let's go back to a wedge real quick. So on a wedge, I want to be able to be consistent. So if I have to marry this presses in my gut. Let's try, I'm not going to be good at this. And marry that. So my body is doing all the turning. I know I should be able to hit a straight ball. And then like I said, you want to flight the ball down, you're going to have to learn to really kind of lean left and drag it down. And you can flight that ball down, but they all go straight. So at the very least, if you take the time to learn this fishtail of mine, this keeping your hands forward, at least on your wedges, but you get to say a 9-iron and you're trying to bump and run, and you learn how to keep them hands forward, you're going to have a pretty good successful coming in and through and get some great spin and get a good bump and run. If you start learning on this fishtail routine that I have going on, if you start learning to use more shoulder to come through and how to let the club naturally release, well, that's going to work for you whether you want your hands in front of your toes or if you want to be out here and do this 90-degree, I don't care. You're going to feel playing that left side. So then let's go to that 4-iron, because you've got yourself stuck under a tree and you need to keep that ball low and you're trying to figure out how to get through it. And so I'm saying keep those hands forward and keep that. See, the more you come through and down, you can keep that ball, still has air. It's going to go over the cart path. It's not going to roll on the ground, hit the lip of the cart path, go the wrong direction, hit a tree, and now you're behind another tree trying to figure out how to get to the green from there. You're going to learn because you're playing. And I've said, for all those guys who go every day to the range and keep trying to hit the same shot day in, day out, and they're going to work out of 1,000 shots a day, how many are you going to hit correctly? What's your averages? Are you improving? But by learning some of this stuff, where you can start doing things and hitting differently, you can start learning how to control your flight and how to stay square, where your swing plane is, and you're going to start learning about your body positions. So what do I want here? Take an 8-iron. If I want to hit to the green on an 8-iron, I want to be pretty smooth this way to that way. Now that's not if I'm doing a stock, that's just a stock shot. I keep telling you, a stock shot should be your big swing here to there. Yeah, they go a little higher, but they get spin, they drop on the green or wherever their distance is going to go, and they don't have a huge amount of roll. That's a stock shot. You can lean into a stock shot and start getting it down. But you have to get the hands forward and you got to learn compression. So I'm saying if you do this, you'll start getting your flights down. You're going to know every time you go right, my hand got behind me, and that's going to force you to practice getting this on the left. Oops. Oh, I got to wrap this up. If you squeeze any part of the tense body, you start squeezing to kill that ball, this is not going to work for you. You have to be so relaxed and just fire away. So you're going to learn how to hit very nice, clean shots, very relaxed, letting the club head come behind you, letting it come back through. Everything's going to feel like, man, this is no effort. So again, you want to go back to the big smooth, the big easy, the big Ernie Els. You want that smooth coming through and banging that ball, getting that spin. You got to have noodle arms. Your wrists have to be subtle. Everything just has to kind of flow. There's no tightening. There's no tensing. There's no, I'm going to come down and I'm going to get that ball in there. That's not going to fly. You'll get away with it some of the time, but you're not going to get away with it often. You want to learn to hit distances. You want to learn to hit straight. If you practice this with the big shoulder turn, and then you want to go back to your conventional swing. So now we're going to get the hands in front of their toe line. So now we're back down to here. You're going to feel it. They're easier. You're playing the left side of your body. Just practice. Practice this turn and coming through. Practice. If you're little hair thin, practice on your turning back, coming down from getting that club and swinging it through. Use that club. If you want to have fun, go slower and see how far you can let it come all the way back. I mean back. I mean, you want to have some fun with it. Take your time. See what you can do. Anytime you can use stored free energy. Stored free energy. That's a good thing. But what else can this do? Oh, remember that bump and run. You can still hit a hard ball and we're barely turning. We're barely doing anything. You're learning how to just relax and let it run. You'll be able to start using, here's my question. This is just some of my wedges right here. What do we need all these for? What do we need all these wedges for? If you can take a 9-iron, pitching wedge, still a wedge, but really a pitching wedge is on the cusp of an iron. It's not a 52, a 56, but if you can start learning how to come through and flight that ball down, oh, I got two more. Or you can do the big old stop, neutral, swing, and flight the ball up. Or you can do these simple little turn through the ball chips. What do you need a bunch of wedges for? Why don't you save that for your longer clubs that get you to the green, and then around the green, just learn one club, or I don't know, maybe two if you have to. Sand, if you play this, we don't have sand at our course. No bunkers, no sand, so we don't have to carry that extra sand wedge or anything like that. But if you start learning how to come up and through, and then get the shoulder turn so that you can flight a ball, you can get one club to do the job of all your other clubs. You know, can you open this guy up, get the hand, keep your weight this way, and come through and get that ball up and float it? Sure. That's a 9-iron. You can flop shot a 9, come through and get under it, and you can flop it all day long. Don't be scared of your clubs. Go play. But learn to turn. Learn to turn. Learn to hit through the ball. Lock that knee, let that leg lock. Lock it. Hit through it. It's going to feel good. Some of y'all are going to be like, oh my God, I only do that on accident every now and then when I'm under a tree. Get out in the open. Learn. Learn how to come through. Hit that thing. Get some spin. Play around with it. See how far back you can go. See how much you can turn. Start hitting. Start playing. So if I'm going to take a big turn, I got to get those hands down. Stay level. How hard do you want to swing? You learn to get those hips out of the way. There ain't nothing to stop you. Get those hips going. Oh, that was a little hard. Tired. So I'm going to wrap this up. I'm sure y'all have seen enough and heard enough and understood enough. But yes, You want to start getting this to where you can feel comfortable and hit. And I mean well. And get some distance. And low flights, compressed balls. Just try this. Just sit there and just learn how to turn and turn. That's all I'm asking you to do. And then when you're done and you go back to playing golf, you're going to find out you're going to go take a conventional swing, and man, you're going to be like, I got things going for me now, because you're learning. So if you want to learn, I got 2 more shots. Learn how to turn with the club out and a fishtail, and then learn how to do it conventional. Keep the club in. You'll see that little left pull. You'll never see the left. Not if you do it the fishtail way. You'll never see a left. But you might see a right, depending if you get your hands behind you too much and that club head stays open as you're making that turn. So if you want to take the left hand side out, now you know how. Now you know. I got to the point where I can pretty well change them at will. But every now and then, you see, I do a brain fart. And every now and then I mean to do this, and then I get here and I hit half that ball. And that means trouble. And like I said, you can get enough spin on that ball, it'll literally go out and come back. And you'll be looking at your ball in front of you going, didn't I just hit that thing and it's in front of you? It does a 180. You can spin them so much. Just relax. Let the club fly through. This is all loose. Just relax. Hit through that ball. Now get it on the left side. Hit that turf. Hear that sound. You want to hear that thump, thump. Thump, thump. Thump off the ground. Thump off the net. It's good stuff. Really good. And then I highly recommend for a lot of y'all, start learning 3/4 swings, at least on your 8 and 9. 2 clubs. For those who carry a pitching wedge, I don't. Maybe a pitching wedge in a 9. Maybe you don't want to do the 8. And then learn how to do just that 3/4 shot where you're just coming through and you're firing, boom, 3/4 shot. See what the distance is. It's going to save you. For all those people who say, oh, I'm in between clubs. Bullshit. Bullshit. You're never in between clubs. The least you could do to take some height and distance off, well, you'll get height, but to take distance off, is just a big swoop to swoop. You're going to hit higher and shorter. That'll take you out of your in-between clubs. You're not coming down through every shot anyway. And you're not good enough, I hate to say it for a lot of y'all, I'm not good enough yet to be able to take a club and say this club goes 105, this one goes 95, and I'm at 90 yards and I'm in between clubs because I can hit this one 95 and I can hit this one 85 or 90 every time, and now I know you're not, no, don't give me that. I even told you if you had to move your foot, the front foot, back 1 foot. That'll shorten your distance because you can't lean through the ball as much. So you're going to hit it a little higher. So anyway, let's cut this video down. I think y'all all get the drift. But practice. Practice this fishtail, learning how to turn. Don't worry if your hip locks up because it's pushing you toward the ball. That's good. And then learn how to come down, relax those arms, and hit through that ball. Just learn. And then go back to your way. Go back to your way where you're hitting conventional. You'll hit better. I promise.